I think that there's one position group in particular that stands out the most, and these are guys who can make a very strong first impression in the coming weeks, and that is the cornerback group.
Welcome into another Purple Insider Extra. Jonathan Harrison here, joined once again by Purple Insider's Matthew Coller. And Coller, the draft is now behind us. All that's left is the schedule release, and then we're on to training camp in July. So in honor of that, let's look way ahead. Let's put on our binoculars and our time machines and look into July when the Vikings open training camp at TCO Performance Center. Right now, what are the training camp battles you will be keeping your eye on?
Well, let's not forget, Jonathan, we've got OTAs and mini camp as well, and those set the stage, and a rookie camp coming up this week that set the stage for training camp. So while those don't determine who's going to make it, and they don't even put pads on, they do kind of give the coaching staff an idea where people stand as far as starting to pick up the basics of the offense, or who remembers the offense coming back, or is picking up Brian Flores' new defense and fitting in there. I mean, this is a chance for guys to make a first impression, especially in mini camp, which is mandatory. And that will also be interesting to see who shows up for mini camp. So we've still got steps to go here before we get to July. But since it does set the stage, I think that there's one position group in particular that stands out the most. And these are guys who can make a very strong first impression in the coming weeks where they've got some practices mixed in. And that is the cornerback group, where you have pretty much all young players. We know that Byron Murphy Jr. is a veteran who is versatile. It seems like a really good fit for Brian Flores. Can play outside, has played nickel before in his career, and was one of the Vikings' bigger signings of the offseason, if not the biggest, on the defensive side. And then you have a bunch of players that are inexperienced. I mean, a Caleb Evans and Andrew Booth Jr., they need to get through training camp and preseason and show that they can stay healthy. And then you have draft picks who have come in as well. Jay Ward, you have Mekhi Blackman. These guys are ready to compete for these jobs. I mean, I know that they're just coming to the NFL, but they're looking to pick up roles. And one of the things the Vikings liked about both of them is that they have versatility. And that's the big word that we're going to hear a million times throughout the summer. And then when we get into training camp, but that's why they picked Mekhi Blackman. That's why they picked Jay Ward, is that they saw players that might be able to play outside corner, inside corner, or in Jay Ward's position, maybe something else, maybe like a safety, or even in the box in a hybrid linebacker type position. Even though he's not that big, he kind of did that at LSU. So these are chess pieces that Brian Flores is going to be evaluating throughout this summer. And I think that's the top battle that they're going to have. But also you've got other players that are inexperienced that are going to be looking to prove themselves as well and need to show that they're picking up on what the Vikings are teaching throughout the summer. Brian Asamoah, the linebacker, high intelligence, high motor guy, is expected to be the starter, but we'll see how that goes. They're leaning on him a lot when you look at the roster and the depth chart, that he is kind of the solidified starter, but he's going to have a big role replacing Eric Kendricks. And then, of course, there's Jordan Addison and the wide receivers. I mean, you kind of look down the depth chart a little bit beyond Jordan Addison and KJ Osborn, and you have Jalen Naylor, Jalen Reagor trying to prove that he deserves some type of role on this team. And then if Delvin Cook is not here, it is quite an interesting battle for the positions behind Alexander Mattison at running back. And again, these guys have an opportunity to kind of show the coaching staff they're picking up the intelligence part of this as they get on the field for some practices throughout the summer. And then when it gets to training camp, the pads come on, then it becomes real. So we do have a long way to go, but these guys have an opportunity to kind of get a leg up when it is OTAs and minicamp.
That's been another Purple Insider Extra for Bring Me the Sports. Be sure to rate, review, and subscribe to the Purple Insider Podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Talk to you next time.